I'm better than you, and you know
Alright, what is up, y'all? It is Brother Pyro, and joining me today for AEW's Forbidden Door, my co-host on Wrestling Crossroads, Landon C. Welcome back, Desario.
Hey, how's it going today?
We're going to do something really special with this one. I think it being a hybrid of an AEW and a New Japan. Thank you.
And sprinkle in a little CMLL.
Right. I think if I can make it work, I think I'm going to upload this episode and our recap for Forbidden Door to both channels. Because I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I think so.
So, I know we're recording a bit early, given Collision tonight. Still don't know what more they might add, because Tony Khan loves to do some last-minute additions.
That's saying something.
I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying not to rag all over the company.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try my hardest.
Alright, so with that being said, let's start us off. Why don't you bring us in?
Alright, well, we'll start off with the New Japan, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. We have Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Nigel McGuiness. We got here because there was a four-way technical match on a Collision, and in that match, Nigel won the opportunity to take on Zack Sabre Jr.
Dude, to think, last year was his first... This time last year, we're talking all in London, that casino gauntlet, first match in 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward a year, now he's got a shot at one of the biggest prizes in all of pro wrestling.
Oh, I know, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy. I mean, his journey to get back to where he is right now is nothing short of inspirational.
Oh no, honestly, it's been... Watching his career the way I have, I really didn't get to watch a lot of his in-ring career. I've always known him as a commentator, so getting to see this, outside of, seeing the highlights that I have from when he was full-time active, getting to see him come back and continue to do something that he loves, absolutely warms my heart.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I known him mostly from when he was in TNA, wrestling over there, and he put on some
I forgot
bangers.
He was in TNA.
Yeah, he put on some bangers.
I know
there.
predominantly he was in Ring of Honor.
Yes.
And I know I didn't get to really watch much of that career.
No, his Ring of Honor stuff was really good as well, especially his matches with Danielson were just the stuff of legends. And
oh yeah, dude, like last year that rivalry that he had with Danielson actually stemmed from my career is different because of you. Because of injury, I should be where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him fight back after 14 years from that said injury to get back here is going to be amazing.
Oh, I agree. Now, going into the predictions here, almost everybody is on board with Zack Sabre, except for Flash. He is going to be going with Nigel on that one.
Yeah, no, that one really caught me off guard when looking at this, because I know he's not super familiar with either guy. I wonder if this was just a throw a name to throw a name.
That's a good possibility.
But I do want to pick your brain as to why Mr. SB or VSJ.
Well, with Sabre, he is probably the best technician in the world right now in any single wrestling promotion. And plus, I just don't see them taking the New Japan title off of a guy from New Japan and putting it on an AEW guy.
Would you really be surprised, though?
I would not be surprised, but at the same time, I don't see it. Just like I don't see Tony Khan ever putting any one of his titles on a person from another promotion.
I was gonna say, because you say that, but like, let's break some stuff down. We've had Moxley in AEW as IWGP World Champion,
but he also had a contract with IW. He also had the New Japan contract.
Okay, we've also we're gonna go with Mercedes Moné, who is currently holding like 9 titles.
Yeah, she just won her 9th one yesterday.
Outside of the TBS title, which is the only AEW branded one.
That's fair, but I mean, there's
and isn't one of them from New Japan?
Yes, she has one. She has one of the New Japan belts,
and she won that under contract with AEW. So again, would we really be surprised?
Would not be surprised, but I just don't see it.
I don't see it for the reason being with Nigel not being
a
full-time guy, with him primarily on commentary. I just don't think that is a good look.
No.
For your champion.
No.
Like, you're going to want to have it on somebody that's going to be able to defend it regularly and be able to really keep up in the ring. Not saying Nigel can't, but again, him being as up there in age as he is, injuries kind of cost him his prime. I'm with you, and I don't see it happening. But you and I don't see it happening for much different reasons.
Correct. I agree.
All right, going into our next match, triple threat elimination tag match for the AEW tag team titles. We have Bandito and Brody King, or as it's come to be known, Brodido. We have FTR, and we have the Hurt Business walking in as champions. We had an eliminator tournament to determine number 1 contenders, with Brodido and FTR meeting in the finals. That match ending, I don't remember if it was time limit draw or double count out.
Time limit draw.
But resulting in Tony Khan announcing it'll be a 3-way eliminator for these tag titles.
And how convenient.
I mean, yeah. I 100% am really looking forward to this match. Hurt Syndicate has done really well since arriving in AEW. I do wish their partnership with MJF would have lasted a little longer. Not gonna lie, that was really entertaining.
Oh, that was very entertaining, but just like a lot of things in AEW, something that becomes very entertaining, they drop it pretty quickly.
FTR, one of the best tag teams in pro wrestling today. I'm gonna die on that hill.
Well, I'd even go say one of the best tag teams in pro wrestling history.
Easily their best team on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And this, again, speaking of things that are entertaining, Brody King and Bandito being the tag team we didn't know we needed, has given me freaking life, my guy.
Oh, they've been putting on bangers in these eliminator matches.
But yeah, no, I love how convenient aspect that you had. I can see this playing out in a number of different ways for the sake of the story that we're progressing towards. Christian Cage and Cope with their rivalry with FTR.
Yes.
That started back, Cope starting back at Dynasty, Christian kind of being added to the mix recently.
Yes.
Going into predictions, you and Twisted went FTR. Cauldron and Flash are Bandito, and I know the team I gave initially, but you know what? We're going to be a little split 3 ways, because I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate to retain.
Okay, fair enough.
I know who I said, but thinking about it, here's how I can see it playing out, because I'm going to defend my argument for a second.
Sure.
Brodido is just too new to... And I don't think they've solidified themselves as a tag team well enough yet to justify putting the titles on.
Makes sense.
I love FTR. You know that they're going to get another shot and reign with those titles at some point in the future. But again, given the rivalry with Cope and Christian, because we know how both of those men like to operate, I can see them somehow getting involved, costing being the reason FTR, lose focus, costing them the match.
I see the point on that one right there, but I also think that, with Cope and Christian, they got some business to handle a little bit later on in the show. So, I mean, they might not necessarily get involved in the finish on this particular match. But I see FTR...
Depending on where this match lands on the card, though, because I can see this happening later on the card than Christian Cage at Cope's match as well.
Yeah.
So I can see that still playing a factor, just like I can also see FTR getting involved with with Cope and Christian's match as well.
Right.
And I think that's just going to add more fuel to the fire that is that rivalry.
And I can see that, but also with the next big one of All Out taking place in Toronto, what better thing to sit there and add to that particular match? Because we're getting to FTR and Cope and Christian.
Exactly. That's exactly what
to put the belts on the line in Toronto, that's where I'm thinking that they're going to go with. Okay.
I didn't realize that they were going to do that in Toronto.
Yeah, it's in Toronto. All Out is in Toronto.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I actually didn't realize that, but now that I know that little bit of information, I think that's going to be fun to really play on. We're going to have to just wait and see what happens with this one.
Yeah, I agree. But
who do you think gets eliminated first, though?
That's a great question. I think the first team out is going to be Hurt Syndicate.
Really?
I think about it. It's old school ECW psychology. Like, if there is a three-way match, perfect example of this is when Taz was getting ready to leave the company. He was put in a three-way dance against Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka, and he was the very first person eliminated in that match at the very beginning of the show, and everybody was shocked. And by taking the champ out, now you're building the anticipation of, yes, we are gonna have a new tag team champion.
And who is it really gonna be? Okay, I see that. Yeah, I see that.
What about you?
I was going to go with Brodido. I think just, again, with how new of a team they are, I think it's going to be like a slight miscommunication that's going to cost them this chance.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that very easily. But it's definitely going to be a fun match to watch.
Oh, yeah.
All right, going into the next match on the card, we have Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT Championship against Hiromu Takahashi. Now, Takahashi announced back in May that he was going to be fighting at Forbidden Door this year. No one really knew exactly who he was going to be fighting. Nobody knew who he was going to be taking on. Well, in an 8-person tag, he happened to show up as one of the mystery opponents to Kyle Fletcher, the Young Bucks, and also the rest of the Don Callis family member, Josh Alexander. And Takahashi actually pinned Alexander at that point and made his intentions known that he wanted Kyle Fletcher. And Kyle Fletcher's like, you know what? I want anybody from New Japan, and I'll take you. And so I think this is going to be a really good match. I mean, Kyle Fletcher has really come into his own ever since breaking away from Ospreay and the Empire, so to speak. And so this is just going to solidify him even more as a possibly top guy, whether he wins or loses.
Oh, yeah, I think this solidifies his career regardless. He's definitely become a great single star, and I hate.
Tell me how you really feel.
Loathe, despise, can't stand giving this man credit for anything that he does. But Kyle Fletcher's singles success is thanks in large part to the tutelage that is Don Callis.
I would agree wholeheartedly on that one.
Don Callis has really helped shape and mold such a young talent, because Kyle Fletcher is still relatively young.
Oh yeah, very easily.
And again, I can't stand giving Don Callis any type of credit. If I can avoid it, I will. But this is one of those situations that I really can't. Kyle Fletcher doesn't become this proto-star or this big rise. Doesn't have this big rise. Isn't this superstar to be. Because I'm not going to say he's quite that superstar or next face, whatever, at this moment. But he's well on his way. And if he doesn't align with Don Callis, I don't think we get here, at least not this quickly and not this aggressively.
Oh no, we do not. And let's also take into account, Takahashi in this match. Takahashi is definitely one of the best athletes, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Doesn't get enough credit.
No, he doesn't. He's a very fly under the radar kind of star. Mm-hmm. But we also have to realize he has. With that being said, though, we also got to acknowledge the work that he's done and how well-rounded and
He's a very well-rounded and well-respected and well-traveled wrestler.
Thank you.
Yeah, so moving into predictions on this one, it is 4-on-1. Now, normally I'm the one on the island by myself, but strangely enough, over the last few PLEs and pay-per-views, I have not really been on an island by myself. So, one person is taking Takahashi, and that is Flash. And the reason why is he just doesn't like Kyle Fletcher and doesn't want him to win.
I feel like that is fair, but I think, again, with Don Callis being in his corner, always having something up his sleeve, Fletcher has the edge, especially because with Takahashi saying this is pretty much going to be his last European show, his last London show.
Yeah, him and Tanahashi both said that.
What sense does it make here, knowing that AEW really is wanting to keep London and the O2 Arena in such a heavy rotation every year?
Yeah.
And if they do pull the trigger out of it, I don't see him holding it very long, so I can't justify Fletcher dropping that title.
No, I don't see Fletcher dropping the title at all, but it is going to be a hell of a match to take a look at.
All right, going into our next match, AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm defends against Ring of Honor's World Women's Champion, the fallen goddess known as Athena.
About freaking time.
Dude, we have only been building to this for God knows how long. Athena has proven that she can hold a company on her shoulders and be the face of a company and a division. Mm-hmm. She earned this opportunity by winning that the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal back at All In. And after a few weeks of teasing, she did announce, I'm cashing in at Forbidden Door, because why not cash it in on one of the biggest stages that AEW has to offer?
Yep.
And as much as I would love to say Timeless got this with the crowd behind her like she did, was it last year? Or was it the year before?
The year before. Last year she lost it to Mariah May.
But the year before, she came out victorious against, I think it was Saraya. Actually.
Yes.
Going into our predictions right away, and then we can continue to break this down. Myself and Twisted are going Athena. Timing just feels right. Everybody else says Timeless Toni Storm. I want to know before I continue to break down why I went Athena, and I think I can speak for Twisted when I do go into my reasonings. I want to know why you have the champ rotation.
So I didn't really want to go with Toni Storm, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we've had this discussion before where I personally think Toni Storm is getting a little stale in her persona right now. I mean, it's becoming a one-trick pony. I mean, yes, it's worded differently, but it's just how many times can you hear the same dribble every single time she comes out? But be that as it may, she hasn't gotten outside of, a couple of years ago when she beat Saraya. She lost last year in London, and now I just think that they're not going to have her lose 2 years in a row in London. That's all. Okay.
I mean, last year you really couldn't go wrong.
No.
But with how over Mariah May became, I think it was hard not to listen to the fans last year. Versus in this instance, I feel storyline-wise, character development-wise, all signs point to Athena. Again, you're not going to have her hold hold a company title for as long as she has without having some kind of plan. Or without giving her something more in that aspect. You're not gonna, build up this moment, this match. You're not gonna have her, on top of being the longest reigning women's champion in Ring of Honor history, albeit a very short list to really compare it to. Hasn't been around that long.
No.
You also aren't going to give her the opportunity to now win the right to challenge for the title if there really wasn't a sure thing for her. If I'm making any sense.
No, that makes sense. I get where you're going with that. And with Athena, I mean, I agree. She's proven that she can hold a company on her back. She definitely does not belong in Ring of Honor for as long as she has had. She definitely should have been featured on AEW TV a heck of a lot more.
And honestly, I think this is now the way that you get to it, because we're getting to that. We're seeing that more and more. We're seeing her featured on AEW more and more since winning this opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think this is how you really solidify her as a star on your women's roster in a time where AEW, your women's roster is kind of lacking. You're missing a lot of big names, whether it be because of injury or personal time off or whatever the case may be.
Bad booking.
Toni Storm hasn't had a big name opponent really in a while.
No.
I mean, yeah, she had Mercedes at All In. Very glad Mercedes didn't win that, but that's where I thought that was going. But outside of Mercedes and Athena, where have we gone with notable names to challenge for the women's title?
And that's because they also haven't built up any notable names to really go for the title.
That's my point.
They had the opportunity with Megan Bayne, who Megan Bayne looks like $1 million and could have a great program. I mean, they almost struck fire with Harley Cameron, and it kind of fizzled after that. They dropped it for almost no reason. So, I mean, they got plenty of opportunity to build up the damn division. It's just that, for one reason or another, they can't just get past looking at either Toni or Mercedes. That's it.
And again, my thing is, like we said, bad booking on their part. I also just, with the character itself now running stale, this title reign really isn't as entertaining or as exciting or as elevated as her first reign was.
True. Very true.
And I think we, the fans, just want not her.
Oh, no, yeah. Anybody, it's getting to the point where it's like back in the day where it was anybody but Roman. And that's
anybody but Roman, anybody. We've had a lot of those anybody but you moments.
Yes.
Roman going into the women's division for the longest time in WWE. Anybody but Charlotte.
Yeah.
Anybody but Toni.
Agreed. But I just unfortunately don't see them taking the belt off her right now.
I'm willing to give Athena the benefit here, and she walks out of London double champion.
Well, I hope so. Here's hoping to that. But moving through into the next match that we got going on, we have got the Unified Championship with Okada taking on Swerve Strickland. Now, how did we get here? We got here by at All In. Swerve and Ospreay took on the Young Bucks, and with one of the stipulations being that if the Bucks lost, they would lose all their EVP powers. Swerve and Ospreay took care of business. Bucks no longer have any of that power, and Okada basically came out and was like, hey, you took away my elite buddies' powers from them, and so I don't really like you, and I think I'm going to take you out. And Swerve's like, word, let's go.
I will say I am loving what they are doing with the with this storyline.
Yes. They built a lot of good stuff. This is a lot of layers going into this whole thing. So, I mean, this is actually some really good
making references to when they were in TNA as Generation Me Max and Jeremy Buck. Yo, like, the way that they have gone about messing with Nick and Matt has been top tier level trolling, and I am here for all of it.
Yeah, taking away the pyro, the Titantron, basically showing them getting, kicked all over the place by Swerve and Ospreay. It's been beautiful.
No music.
The entrance door didn't go all the way up one time, and they had to crawl underneath it just to get to the ring.
Dude, everything about this has been beautiful. And I don't want to see them back in their EVP power, at least not on screen.
No.
I'm sure they still do have the power backstage. But, like, using it as their on-screen persona, I prefer for them to, back off of that.
Yeah.
They're doing a really good job of that now.
I agree.
Because this is me and I know we've talked about this before, but I genuinely feel like if you are in a position of power, just because you have it doesn't mean, one, you should abuse it. Look at Cody when he was one of the EVPs. Mm-hmm. He did a really good job of balancing out his control and his in-ring character.
Same thing with Omega.
Omega's doing a really good job of that. I know Jericho is kind of part of that group as well.
A little bit.
In terms of, like, having, his creative control and having a say in what goes on in the product as one of the founding members. And you can see he does a pretty decent job of balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little more in his own favor than it should be, but I'm not gonna, talk about a man that hasn't been around in a while.
No, and who knows if he's even going to be around in AEW at the end of the year, as they've been talking about.
Yeah.
But that's a different story for a different time.
But go ahead and bring us into the predictions.
So, going into the predictions, myself and you are going with Okada. Everybody else is going with Swerve.
I love Swerve. I would love to see him hold some gold again. It's been way too long.
It's been about a year, hasn't it?
Since when he lost to Danielson.
At All In.
In London.
It's been a year.
That was a badass match, though. I will still go back and watch that.
That was great.
But, again, with... and I know they're going to be part of a match later, but that lights out steel cage match. I do feel like in some fashion the Bucks are going to find a way to get involved. And that's going to be what hurts Swerve's chances of winning.
I would agree with that one right there. And Okada has just been... He isn't the Rainmaker that we once knew and appreciated and respected, but also the way they have booked him, though, to look like he is essentially this kind of god-esque figure that really... Because think about it. Mm-hmm. He really shouldn't have won at All In. No, he shouldn't have.
That should have been Kenny's moment.
Yeah.
But this is one of those, I'm going to flex my creative control. And I get that they have such a deep-rooted history, albeit only having a handful of matches.
Yeah.
The rivalry stems from just beyond the ring at this point.
Yeah.
Which is kind of stupid.
Kind of.
Shush. Shush. Okay? Shut your face up. But, like, I don't get why we're in this position. I don't get why Okada is in the position that he is right now. It just doesn't.
The only thing I can think of is why they still have the unified title on him going in is because they're getting ready to do their, Continental Classic again, and they want him in that one. To sit there and just defend, the strap. And I get it.
Okay, with them blurring the titles, are we still getting that Continental Classic title?
I have a feeling that we are going to be getting the Continental Classic.
Or, are we going to get, a different variant to that? Or
see, that's why they shouldn't have called this the unified title at this point. They should have just dropped the international one, just said, okay, this is still the Continental Classic title, not calling it the Unified. Plus, that's also so damn confusing with the fact of the Unified title, usually you're thinking of like the big world ones, but we're talking mid-card titles. 2
mid-card titles.
I mean...
that were essentially the same title.
Yeah. It makes no sense, but I feel that they're still going to have the Continental Classic, and that's why they kept it on Okada, and that's why I still feel that they're going to keep it on Okada after this.
That's like if I took, and I'm going to go with, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Because I'm trying to think of, like, other companies and their titles. That'd be like me taking the X Division title from TNA and what was once the Cruiserweight title in WWE to blur them, essentially. Like, they're the same title.
Or we can sit there and just use a WWE example, because I see where you're going with this. That'd be taking the Women's Intercontinental title and the Women's United States title, combining them and saying, this is the unified champion.
Like, I could see that working with your Women's World Championships.
Or the Men's World Championships.
Please don't ever do that again, though.
No.
I'm liking the whole 2 different sets of titles per show. 1 set of titles per show kind of thing.
Yeah. We didn't like it when they had the tag titles hooked up.
I wasn't entirely mad at it because of the way they've been booking. That at that time, their lackluster tag divisions on both shows.
But now they've got them.
But now that they've been able to expand a bit more and are booking them properly, I'm okay with them being separated.
Sure.
But alright. Cope and Christian Cage taking on Kip Sabian and Killswitch.
Yes.
It should have been Nick Wayne, but Nick Wayne did come down with an injury.
Broken foot.
Now being replaced by Killswitch, or as I will forever call him, he is Luchasaurus.
Yep, and congrats for him to being able to come back after being away for almost a year with double pneumonia in both of his lungs.
Yeah. No, dude, I am so happy that he was able to come back. It really did, like, I didn't think he was gonna come back.
Didn't think he was gonna come back anytime soon.
Not as quickly as he did, so the fact that he was able to beat that, thank you, Jesus. But this really just going back and forth with the patriarchy kind of turning their back on Christian Cage after their loss at All In. Cope being able to make the save once the beatdown started and FTR got involved. More recently, post the Cope and Stokely match. Once that beatdown happened on Cope, Christian kind of returning the favor of, I'm going to play Captain Save-A-Bro. I'll come save you.
Not happy about it, but he still saved him.
Them finally giving each other the embrace instead of go yourself.
Or go find yourself.
Now, after, I think it's been about 11 years plus since we've seen them as a tag team.
I think it's 14.
It's been 14 years since we've seen them as a tag team. First time since 2011. I'm really excited for this match. For anybody that doesn't know what Cope and Christian can do as a tag team, please go and educate yourselves. They are probably one of the most decorated tag teams in all of tag team history.
I think they're behind only the Dudleys and Hardys.
Like I said, one of the most... And mind you, that's saying something considering neither one of them has really held tag team gold, at least together, outside of the WWF/WWE.
True.
Think about it. You're talking, the Hardys, who have held Ring of Honor tag gold, TNA tag gold, AAA tag gold. Like, they've held tag gold all over the world. You're talking the Dudleys, WCW, ECW, TNA, WWE, New Japan. Yeah, decorated tag teams. They are probably, if you are talking Mount Rushmore of tag teams, Edge and Christian are on that Mount Rushmore. if you're talking teams that helped revolutionize and popularize tag team wrestling, you're not getting a name outside of Edge and Christian. And if you're having these discussions and not including Edge and Christian or Adam Copeland and Christian, you don't know wrestling.
No, you don't know. They are definitely a very vital linchpin in the history of professional wrestling.
And I'm loving, again, my childhood kind of brought back to life here. Just revived just a little, just enough to make me want to pay attention to AEW on a more consistent basis. Going into our predictions, you and I seem to have forgotten this going into the show. Oops, we can give ours live as soon as I read off Cauldrons, Flashes, and Twisted, because everybody there is on the same page. It's going to be Adam and Christian Cage, and you know what? I'm going to kind of side with that.
I'm siding with that as well.
All right, so a unanimous front, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage to pick up the dub today. One, they have the experience as a team. Do I feel like tempers might still be a little touchy, considering they've been at each other's throats for a little while now? Yes, but do I see them kind of overcoming that due to their long history as a tag team, due to the fact that they know each other so well, that they are so close in and outside of the ring? Yes, experience is going to be a key factor in this match. And like I said, there is very little tag teams with as much experience together.
Yeah, and
than Cope and Christian Cage.
Oh yeah, you're not going to sit there and match up the experience factor on that one. And kind of like we touched on a little bit before, with All Out happening in Toronto, give them the win, give them the momentum, have them build up to when they eventually take on FTR. I mean, it's going to be as simple as that.
No, that's going to be explosive.
It's going to be great. All right, so moving into the next match, we have the TBS Championship in a fatal four-way. The current champion of everything in the universe right now, Mercedes Mone, taking on AEW's Alex Windsor, CMLL's Persephone, and Bozilla from New Japan. This is going to be a pretty interesting match. I mean, Alex Windsor earned her spot by winning was it a triple threat match, I think it was?
I believe so.
Yeah, triple threat match, earned her way into that spot. CMLL announced Persephone was going to take part in it, and then New Japan just announced Bozilla. They didn't really say why they put him in there. They're just like, hey, we're putting him in this match. But this should be a very entertaining match, especially with the contrast styles. And if people have not seen Bozilla yet, they are in for a treat.
I will say I am very unfamiliar. It was a fatal four-way.
Fatal four-way, okay.
Because it was Alex Windsor, Billy Starks, Queen Aminata, and Sky Blue.
That's right.
I will say I'm very unfamiliar with Bozilla's work, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be a great contrast in styles. A lot of good in-ring work. I mean, and say what you want about Mercedes Mone, she does deliver on a big stage when it comes to matches and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's I'm pretty much booked to win everything.
Oh, I know. That's why we're going to...
This is another example of anybody but you. Because for the love of God, anybody but Mercedes.
Well, going into some of the predictions right here, unfortunately, you, me, and Flash are all on the Mone train, because we'll get into that in a moment. We have Twisted going with Persephone, duh.
I think that's because that name holds a really special place in her heart.
Okay.
Right now.
Right.
And we're gonna
go with that.
We're gonna go with that.
And Cauldron is going with Alex Windsor. I think Cauldron is kind of like anybody but Mone at this point.
I think so too, which is perfectly fine with me, because anybody but Mone.
Yeah. We're noticing a theme with the women's champions in AEW. Anybody but this person.
Anybody but the champion.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I just don't see them...
Because also, when was the last time she really defended that TBS title?
I think the last time she defended it was against... Was it against Harley Cameron?
Probably.
I think it was against Harley, because then there was the women's tournament to sit there and the Owen Hart tournament. And she did defend the title there, and then she ended up earning the spot to go to All In.
And that's my thing, is what, outside of giving her almost every title in almost every company, what have they really done with her as champion?
No, they haven't done anything really.
Give somebody else an opportunity. Somebody that we're going to see a little more frequently that's going to be able to do something with that TBS title. You've done a great job in elevating it by name, but not by performance.
No, I agree. But unfortunately, until they build somebody else up, which they're not capable of, or maybe hopefully Sky Blue or Statlander comes back into
Personally, I would have loved for Sky Blue to be in this match.
Yeah.
Instead of Alex Windsor, no disrespect. Or even maybe a former champion known as Julia Hart.
Julia Hart.
Because, like, she's so over with the crowd, and she did a really good job that first time around. I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
I wouldn't mind either. Or maybe even a Willow Nightingale put into this match as well.
Yes! Oh my god, somebody acknowledge the fact that Willow has been such a workhorse.
Yes.
Give her some damn love. My God.
Well, moving into next match, why don't you bring us up to
Next
speed?
match. Ooh. Match you and I were talking about on the way up here to record. Hangman Adam Page defends his newly won AEW World title against MJF. MJF technically won this opportunity by winning the Casino Gauntlet back at All In. However, he's been, after weeks of attacks on Hangman and messing with Hangman finally like, dude, and Hangman telling him, if you want this title, you're going to have to cash in that contract. If you want this title, you're going to have to cash in that contract. Mm-hmm. MJF being the ultimate heel that he is. Because he is the ultimate heel.
He is right now.
After him and Ricochet kidnapped Mark Briscoe and kind of manipulating a lot of this in his favor, you're going to agree to my terms. I will burn this man alive if you do not agree to my terms. I don't have to use my contract being one of those terms. Champion's advantage, thrown out the window.
Yeah,
DQ and countout will now count for the title change, which is going to be fun.
It is.
Because it's not something you see very often. I'm thinking, going into our predictions and what is going to be a surefire, hard-hitting match. You, me, Cauldron, go Hangman, Twisted, Flash, MJF. Now, me predicting that he wins this match doesn't mean I don't see him. Me predicting Hangman winning the match doesn't mean I don't still see MJF walking out as champion.
No, I see where you're going with that one right there, because MJF very easily could lose this match. Hangman's still so beat up, and then MJF signs the contract. Another match comes right after.
There we go. Ref still in the ring. Post-match, Ricochet will probably get involved. Let's be real. Post-match, MJF, with the help of Ricochet, beat down Hangman just a little more, expending whatever little bit of energy he would have had left. MJF, not as fresh, but also not as beat down.
Yeah. And in these types of matches, in this type of environment, it does
because the fact that he still has that contract in his back pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he basically can have 2 title matches in one night.
He can, but this type of environment is more Hangman style. We've seen how Hangman works in the no DQ. Well, it's actually not a no DQ.
It's not a no DQ match,
but it's still that type of wild, unhinged environment that Hangman can sit there and find himself into. And I just don't see them taking the title off of him this soon after the rocket they strapped onto him.
Dude, and honestly, like, this version of Hangman is probably the best version of Hangman we've had in a while. I want to see what they do with this reign. This is only his second reign. Please let it mean something with this new persona.
I agree. And then, what's probably going to close out the show?
If this doesn't main event and close out the show, you kind of booked this card wrong.
No, but there's a reason why I say this match might not. This next match is going to be the one that kind of closes out, because the lights out steel cage match. Now, usually when they have the lights out match, that means it's unsanctioned. Unsanctioned matches at AEW usually are the ones that take place after all the card happens. That's where I'm kind of saying that this is probably going to close out the show. But on one side, you're going to have Darby Allin, Ospreay, Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers versus the Death Riders, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. Now, we got here in a lot of different ways. A lot of things happened to sit there and kind of put this match into play. We had the Death Riders, beaten down. I forget who it was that it was an opponent Moxley had. And then after the match, Moxley and the Death Riders were just beating the crap out of him. Out comes Darby to make the save. And Darby being Darby,
Yeah.
And trying to get...
a glutton for punishment?
A glutton for punishment is an understatement. But then he comes out, helps do some of the beatdown. The Bucks then make their way into it, because the Death Riders and the Bucks are now kind of all buddy-buddy.
Very loose alliance.
Very, very loose alliance.
I'm gonna quote WWE for this one in your Women's Tag Team Champions. They're not friends. They're allies of convenience.
Agreed. I agree with that one. And so because the Bucks are in it, well, that's where the Golden Lovers kind of come into play. They're like, hold on a second, guys. How you doing? And then, last but not least, getting Tanahashi as the last mystery opponent for them, and just the reaction from the Death Riders and from the Bucks was just pure, gold on that one. And, Twisted even brought together that she loved how this whole match started to come together. Her favorite part also was finding out Mox finding out that Team AEW got Tanahashi, because Mox hasn't really been able to get the best of Tanahashi in any company that he's ever worked in.
That is valid.
Yeah. And so this match is just going to be pure chaos. It is going to be bell to bell. Moxley's probably going to bleed before he gets in the ring.
I can at least see him making it to the ring.
Okay, fine. And then he bangs his head against the steel cage as he's entering it, and there's his busted open spot.
But he's definitely going to be the first bleeder. Let's be real, he's going to be the first bleeder.
Right. And so, I'm excited. This is going to be pure chaos. This is going to be, typical AEW blood and guts type of match that they've been known for over the last several years, or ever since the inception of the company, because they wanted to make themselves a little bit different, because... well, let's face it, WWE doesn't really do all that blood and guts types of matches. No. And rightfully so, because sometimes you want to save...
but let's be real, blood and guts was just their answer to War Games.
Yeah, it was.
They just couldn't have the name.
No, they couldn't. But going into the predictions, it looks like Flash and myself, we are going Death Riders, baby! Everybody else is going Team AEW. So, Pyro... why are we going AEW here?
Again, the whole story behind Mox losing the title and whatever is, they're not, Team AEW trying not to let them hold this company hostage. You've already started kind of disassembling that. You've started making that work. Bucks without the EVP powers, Death Riders without the title. I think it's going to be a slow breakdown for the Death Riders and the Bucks before you build them back up. Because at that point, if you're just going to put them right back into a momentum swing upward, mm-hmm. What was the point in having Moxley lose the world title? What was the point in having the Bucks lose that match for EVP control?
True. I see it. I see where you're going with this, but in my estimation, the best thing for AEW is to try to sit there and get a little bit more shine back onto the Death Riders and a little bit onto the Bucks, because in order for you to have a babyface, you need solid, credible heels.
I mean, these are, win or lose, they're all going to be, the Death Riders and the Bucks are solid, credible heels.
But then that's 2 pay-per-views in a row that the Death Riders and Bucks lost. In separate matches and everything else like that, you don't want to sit there and
I don't
have
think
them
it.
pigeonholed like
I don't think it loses them any real credibility, because even after they've lost their matches at All In, you saw they were still, coming out doing what they do, beating people up, trying to take back that control.
Yeah. I
just think you gotta break them down before you can give them that chance to regain that.
Fair.
They say that there's nothing worse or scarier than a man with nothing to lose. There's still a lot to lose for the Death Riders and for the Bucks before they are put into that, I'm backed into a corner position now with nothing to lose. I'm going to become even more so unhinged. I'm going to turn up my level of chaos.
Okay, but I do also see the wild card in this match with Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd is going to sit there and be able to bring something a little bit more to the table that the Death Riders have been kind of needing over the last couple of months, actually. And so he is going to be a nice big X factor, and I think he's going to be the one that kind of helps neutralize Tanahashi a little bit, just because of their New Japan connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a very, very solid statement.
But as always, this AEW show, even though it's quite a bit of matches that we have on there, they're going to be able to deliver. Let's just hope that they keep the match times to less than 5 hours this time.
I will say this is not as bloated a card as we're used to.
No.
So I'm happy about that. But with that being said, I think that brings us through the match card.
It does.
All of our predictions for AEW's Forbidden Door. So with that being said, we hope you guys enjoy the show. And we will be back later on with the recap.
Sounds good. I like it.